women wouldn't have had a clue really what they were being recruited into. Sometimes they told them, sometimes they didn't. So once you've passed your training, you would be put into uniform. So a woman would be put in the uniform of the First Aid Nursing Yeomanry if she wasn't already uniformed by WAF. This gave them a cover while they were training, because you can't really say to your mum, I'm off to train to be a secret agent, I'll see you in a bit. They were off to be ambulance drivers or something like that. They had a uniform and they had a salary. And arguably, they had a rank, although it is an auxiliary unit. Men would retain the uniform that they were already in. And they'd go off for preliminary training. This was usually at one of two houses in Surrey, Wanborough Manor or Winterfold House. Now, one of the jokes was that SOE actually stood for Stately Ooms of England, because they're all beautiful requisition manners. They're not slumming it by any stretch of the imagination. At preliminary training, it's PE, basic firearms, basic Morse code, basic demolitions. It's all basic because it's really to weed out unsuitable recruits. It's to find out whether they're good enough to move on to the next thing. They were taught in the language of the country they'd be going into. They were told the course was held under commando cover. So as I said, for the men, that would make sense. They could potentially be going on to be recruited into the commandos, but there were no female commandos. One of my favourite stories is Odette Wylan turning to Pearl Witherington, and she said, I don't know why I'm here, because I answered an advert to be a bilingual secretary. As they said, they were blowing things up, shooting things down, crawling round on their bellies, climbing assault courses, climbing up firemen's ladders. There's a lovely story of Nancy Wake saying, I've been fighting the Germans in Marseille and not once had any of them timed me while I ascended a fireman's ladder. But, this was all part of the training. An interesting part of the training here as well is the drinks cabinet, which was always open, and they were actively encouraged to get pickled because loose lips sink ships and all that.